Well, how's everybody doing today? I hope if you celebrate Thanksgiving, you had a good one. And if you don't, I hope you had a good day. It's been kind of a busy and hectic couple of weeks here in the Dancer household. Of course, I posted a short video of our poor girl Shakoba and her injuries. She is, in fact, the tube came out a week ago and the stitches are now out, and she seems to be fine. The wife suffered from one more year around the sun, and that called for a dinner out, and that's what we did. And pretty much VA appointments, dental appointments. It's kept me busy, and not quite able to work on this. So I have a few minutes. I'm not quite, you can see, I'm still working on windows here. So let's go ahead and get started on some of this. As you can see, I still have a window and doors and windows on the sides to finish. And again, it's been quite a hectic couple of weeks. So let's go ahead, and I need to paint the insides of these. And this is kind of where I went. You can see from the video, the last video I shot of the house, of the building and the window frames, I wasn't real satisfied with how they came out, so I went ahead and fixed it. And of course I wanted these to be green, and this is to represent a cement concrete header above the windows. You'll see that on some brick windows. I have a picture of one that'll be posted somewhere off to one side here, and you'll see what kind of the look I was going for. I haven't put this doorway in yet. I need to still paint these on the sides, and then I was thinking about painting inside black. Where this is going to sit, you're not going to see much of the inside, but again, this is still a pretty good sized window here. Whoops. And I may look for some O-scale pies or cakes or something and put on a table in here to kind of have something in the windows. Okay, so there's going to be something. I haven't decided what yet, so I have not really put this in place. It also helps I have some place to hold when I'm working out here, so I'm not damaging it. I did put the top on this and paint it recently, and I put this other corner on, and there will be corner pieces going on here still. But again, it's been kind of a hectic couple of weeks around here, so things did not get where I wanted them, done wise anyway, and that happens. That's called life. So we deal with it as it comes. Now I'll let that get a little tacky there, and I still have to put a piece down on here and a sill plate on there. So that'll all happen here in a little bit, or later. What I wanted to do today was show you, this was something that Jason Jensen did with some of his buildings on HO scale, and it kind of gives it a little bit more realism. You'll notice here the windows, and there's really nothing there. You just have windows, and of course once there's a ceiling over this, it'll be a lot darker in there, but still we want to give the impression people live here. So what he did, and what I'm going to do, I had some of this old paper floating around that I had pictures on at one time. This was all in a folder, and I've since moved the pictures around. But it looks a little old and weathered, and they will make good the type of shades you pull down. And this is what Jason Jensen had done in a couple of his. So we're going to make a couple of those. I'm going to show you kind of what he did. how he, you know. And they'll also, you can do curtains, and I was gonna do curtains in these windows here and these windows, and not the pull down shades. And you can use colored construction paper, and you know, you can use this old faded weathered. These are, you know, look in there, they'll look kind of dirty. This is made to kind of represent maybe the hallway going up and the apartments sit in the back, and this is kind of a front hall to let lights in. And of course, you know, they would have nothing fancy up here, so the apartments would be in the back. So anyway, let's cut a piece of this, and it does not need to be all that big, and they don't have to be straight, and you want to make sure they fit. And what they're going to do is you're going to just put them in here so it looks like a shade is partially down over the window there. Okay, you can make them further down, further up, crooked, you know, as some would be, the older style. So you don't have to have them perfectly straight. You can see I just snipped, and I'm going to put them in these windows here at varying heights or crookedness or whatever. And again, you could do the same thing, 2 strips down either side of the window, just enough you can see them, as curtains. And you can use construction paper, colored, or pretty much anything would work. You don't need a lot of glue on these, just enough to hold them in place. And then we'll put it in here, and we'll kind of get it, and there we are. Okay, you see? So we'll go ahead and I'll do these other 2, and then I'll paint this, and I've got to put a couple things in here, but I wanted to show you that. And I'll probably, again, I'll be painting the inside of this, or partially the inside, black, or excuse me, I could even put a piece of cardboard in so far back and paint it black so you're not seeing all the way in, and put some cakes or pies or something in there, you know, any old thing, just to give it some detail. And this one, of course, we're gonna put that one up a little higher maybe. And once again, I'm using tacky glue. This is real handy for some of this stuff. It doesn't make quite as big a mess as some of the other glues I've used. And I want to come right in here. And then we've got it popping up a bit. So just hold it down with your finger until it kind of sets up. There we are. And there's another one. And I can set one. And I'll show you real quick what one would look like if you did curtains, for instance. You just cut a couple of pieces about, and you don't have to be perfect with this. It doesn't have to be. They're curtains. If you looked in, and you'd have a curtain, you know, hanging here, and then you'd have another one on the other side like that, and of course one like that. And I will be putting them on the windows here on the sides, curtains. And I may just use, I have some colored construction paper floating around. I could use that, or I could use these and just make them look like they've been there hanging in the windows for a long period of time. And we're going to give this one all the way, almost all the way down, and then we're going to hold it in place for a second. So I hope if you went out away to families for Thanksgiving. You had a good meal. If you celebrate, I know not everybody does. The wife and I had a small turkey breast and sweet potatoes and cranberry sauce, nothing major. My daughter-in-law was working, and the weather was kind of bad the day before, and I didn't want them risking driving up the 5 hours. So the fact that she was working meant they really couldn't come up anyway. So maybe next year we'll get a chance to spend a Thanksgiving with them now that they're in the same state. If they're still in the same state, her being a traveling CNA, she could be anywhere. We don't know for sure. Maybe we'll see them at Christmas. Be nice to see the grandsons. We could go to them, I suppose, but that would mean having to find somebody to take care of the dogs, and that would cause a bit of a problem at times. Anyway, there you have it. Shades. Pull down style shades. Very simple. Paper. Anything you want to use for that. And it looks like you've got the pull down shades. So while you're here, I'm gonna go ahead and finish this window, at least get the glass in it and paint it. Paint the edges here. Let me find another piece of, here is, of course, my reading glasses. I always forget these. I wore glasses from the age of 5 until I was in my 40s, and then I had cataract surgery, and that kind of, the only time I need glasses now is for reading, well, until recently. One of the many appointments I have had with the VA was an eye appointment, and they said I needed driving glasses. So I now have a pair of driving glasses out in the truck that occasionally I'll remember to put on. Occasionally. Tuck this, that just does not seem, I think I cut that just slightly too long. Take that back out. There we are. I think. And that time I cut it too short. Today is not a good day for this, I see. We will try again. Just a little bit more. You can always cut something too long, and you can always recut it. If you cut something too short, you have to start over again. It seems like I had 6 of one or half a dozen of the other today. I can't seem to, the other thing is cutting in a straight line. Of course I would. Drop that right on the floor. Let's test fit this one. Okay, that one looks like it's gonna work. So we will set that in there. Let that set up a bit. And now I need one for down here on the door. The other thing I discovered was, so I'm not gonna cut a hole, but I am gonna have, of course, this is Granny and Red's bakery and delivery. They have to have a way to get supplies without bringing them in the front door, and of course take the baked goods out to go and deliver them, again without going through the front door. There will be a bigger door here, but it won't be cut out. It'll be, I'm just going to frame it with some cardboard, make it a little thicker, have a cardboard door, and similar to what I did here, it'll be thick enough and it'll be made to look like a delivery door, and we'll have that in place back there. So again, this is where this is going to be setting. You're not going to see that, but if I decide I want to move the building and put it somewhere else, I definitely want to make sure that I have a means. You can see it. You'll be able to see the back of it, and there we are. Now I'll cut this. Also, this is going to have an awning over the front here. Not a very big one, probably just an inch or so sticking over. That'll come out. I'll be making that again once I finish the windows and decide what I'm doing with the inside. I will build an awning to go over it. Okay, I think that's going to work. I will end up with glue and paint all over my fingers before I'm done. Just happens every time. So we also watched the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, and while we were doing that, I decorated the Christmas tree and the house. This is a new addition. Picked this up, and it's here, and there's some other decorations throughout. I decided it was the year I wanted to decorate, so that's what I did yesterday while the parade was going on. Now I'll show you what I did here. I made these a little thicker again because I messed this up. We were very rushed. I was very rushed that day. When I shot that video, the dog was not doing so great. She had seemed like she was, and then when we looked at the wound, it was like, this is not good. We need to get her actually to a vet. So I had just kind of thrown that window together, and I wasn't happy with it. So what I did was I put a couple of smaller pieces on either side, and I made this piece and this bottom piece thicker. So what I did with the rest of them, of course, is I just doubled them up right away, and that way I didn't have to go through the nice thing with cardboard is I can extend a little things and do some things, and mistakes happen, and so you just learn to deal with them. And there we are. Let's cut that. This, and I will Okay, let this set up a bit, and I'm going to trim that, and trim that. And before I put it up there, excuse me, I will paint it, so I don't have to paint it here. I ended up painting this one in place, and it wasn't that hard to do, but why make a bigger mess, right? So we'll leave that here. I need to find a piece or two that I can use as the base underneath. So why don't I just make a new one? Let's see if I did. I made it long enough. Fantastic. And of course, as you can tell, I'm still not in the engine house this week, or probably over the winter at all when I shoot these videos. I don't know if you can hear in the background our furnace going off. Down in the engine house itself, it's not really conducive this time of year to shoot a video down there with the noise. So I kind of shanghaied the dining room table. Now, set that aside to dry. This tacky glue sets up kind of quickly, which is nice. I'll set that aside. And while I'm waiting for those to set up enough to paint, I will go ahead and paint the inside of these. Oh, I did not put a piece up there. I will have to do that. It does appear I am a bit scatterbrained still. And I can hear my wife in the living room. I can hear her brain. She's going, "What do you mean still?" And cut some of that off. My wife is currently taking it easy. She has an English degree, and she edited a lot of my work over the last few years. So she bought a course online that will help her. She was thinking about becoming an editor. There is a lack of real employment around here. That really, without having to drive to, say, you know, a half an hour away or 45 minutes away one way, and that, and this, especially this time of year, the roads here, they do maintain them well, but it's still not really something she really wanted to do, was to drive around in the nasty roads and weather. And so instead, she's in the living room on the couch with her tablet, and she is reading an editing course that she just recently bought and downloaded. So she is going to get better at editing my work, which is nice. I do believe I've said I've written a few books, and I've got 2 more that are sitting there waiting for editing. So the editing course that she's taking will make her a better editor, and she may even make a little money at it, which would be nice. I know it would make her happy. And it makes me happy having her at home. It was nice when she worked. It was nice. The little extra money was nice for our hobbies. But it is nice to have her at home. And I see I need to fill this in as well. We'll do that here in a minute. Now the bottom plate on this, for this door, this bottom plate here will be painted gray as a cement step into the apartment complex stairs. I've also haven't really had much time to work on the other building that I had down there, which is the Hansel and Gretel confectionaries. There's a couple things I wanted to show you on that at a later date. I hopefully will get a chance. One second here. I get these with my coffee when I walk down. We take a morning walk to the end of town, and I wrap one of these around my coffee. And if you look, they look a little like corrugated roofing on this side, roughly the right scale. So I've been using these on one of the part of the building that will be the Hansel and Gretel confectionaries. It'll be the boiler room addition on the side, and I'll bring that up in my next video and show you that. I'm trying to get this one done, and not so much because it's gonna really, it's gonna set in place somewhere, but I need to finish one or the other. And since I had started this one for the video, I figured I'd better finish it. One of the things, and I'm sure you probably are in the same way, too many projects, nothing gets done. And that's kind of the way it is sometimes around here. I have too many things going on. I don't know if you can hear that. There's a train nearby. Anyway, too many things going on at once, and then suddenly you've got this you're working on, that you're working on, and eventually you find out nothing is getting done. So I put Hansel and Gretel's aside for now to concentrate on this one, since this is the one I'm shooting the video on. And I hope now that Thanksgiving is over, and hopefully Shakoba, every family has a child that seems to get injured constantly, and you're always at the hospital with that child. Our problem child seems to be Shakoba. First it was her leg, and then it was her belly. Hopefully we will not have any more mishaps with her, and she will heal, and I can concentrate on finishing some of this. And there. I will finish this up later, and I will probably need to touch this other one up, and I will put in a window and a shade in that one as well, so the next video will have all of that lovely stuff in there. But I think for now I'm going to call it, no, I am going to just touch this up a bit right here. My hands are not as steady as they used to be, but keep one thing in mind when you're doing this. If you get a little paint somewhere, I have some here when I was fixing my mistake over here, and I didn't notice it until, of course, it had dried. You keep one thing in mind when you're doing something like that. Don't panic. Well, for starters, part of that's going to be covered up with an awning. The other thing is sometimes even painters in the real world can be a little sloppy. So you take that into account and say, well, you know, the painters were sloppy. If any of you have watched any of Jason Jensen's videos, of course, he weathers a lot of his stuff with detailing and whatnot. And there's a lot of faded and chipped paint and on his, and some of them, you know, he's got dirt streaks and rust streaks on things, and so he likes the weathered look. A lot of people do, some people don't. It's just to each their own. I don't get too carried away with perfection. You go out in the real world and you can find a lot of mistakes in real life as well. So if you get wrapped up in worrying about, you know, you're gonna miss the whole point. Anyway, I think I'm gonna call this good. I have to wait for paint to dry. I have to clean my brushes before I can paint the header on the door. And so I think for now I'm gonna call this good, and I will have some more done for the next video, and we will do something about the top and the back sides, and of course the door I intend to put in the back. Now, a couple things too is, again, this is a large building, and once this goes in, you're still going to be able to see in the windows, and like I said, I'm probably going to paint this black. I did finding O-scale things like pies, cakes, food items are kind of hard to find. I have found dollhouse scaled, which is scaled a bit differently, a little bit larger, of course. So what I had thought was, for display purposes, of course, you want your displays to be pop right out. So I thought what I would do is I would set a couple of things down behind here in the back, and maybe get a couple of the dollhouse cakes, like a wedding cake or something that's, you know, probably that tall, or a smaller cake, or even a couple of pies, to kind of advertise. You know, you want them a little oversized, you want them to pop. So I'll probably do that, but again, this will probably be black in here, and I may even put up some cardboard just to keep you from seeing too deep into it, especially again if I put it somewhere else besides where I intend to put it. So again, I think I'm going to call it a day here for now, because I have to clean all of this. And I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, of course, hit the like button down there below. Subscribe, And there go the dogs. They saw something. There's Amarok right there. And Shakova in there. I think the neighbor's dogs are out. Anyway, if you like the video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button so you get notified when I put out another video. I try to put them out once a week. This is the holiday season. Christmas is the next biggest holiday. I will see how busy I am and what we're doing, whether or not I get them out before Christmas. Anyway, once again, I hope you had a happy Thanksgiving if you did celebrate it. If you did not, I hope you had a great, relaxing day off. Either way, we're going to call that good for today. Bye for now.